All right, welcome. This is chapter one of medical terminology, medical language accelerated. So every chapter, we will be going through the slides and I'll be pulling out the major information you need to understand. I recommend having your textbook in front of you as we go through, and especially pay attention to the learning outcomes within each section of your textbook and answering those questions kind of as we go along. I cannot tell you how important it is that you complete the learning outcomes within the textbook, whether it be if you're doing the online version. Okay, so this is the online textbook here. Okay. Or whether you're doing the hard copy. Either one is great. I am a big fan of the hard copy, and the online textbook does come with the course. But getting back real quick, I don't want to get off topic, is these learning outcomes here in every chapter throughout the textbook are very important. I cannot stress that enough. So we'll go through a couple as we go along. I also post the answer key to the learning outcomes towards the end of the chapter, but this is the best way of being able to um, learn the material. Okay, let me show you an example and I'll come back to it again. But right here is an example of this is learning exercise 1.5, which is on page, what page is that? 17 in your textbook. So if you're a pen and paper kind of person like I am, that is this right here. Okay. Fill it in, write it in, learn it, study it. This is a fast-paced course. It's a lot of information. So I highly recommend going back to it at least 3 or 4 times a week, reading. And another good thing about the textbook too is that it is very easy and very reader friendly, in my opinion. So let me show you here. Sorry, I should have already had it pulled up, huh? Um, Here it is. So this is that same, I went too far. This is the same learning outcomes, okay, that I just showed you, okay, right here. Exercise one, okay, geno, meaning to create or cause. This is if you want to write it in your textbook, and here it is on the online version, okay. You can print it out, you can it's just easier on paper. So that's what I recommend. But these learning outcomes, do them. As you're reading the textbook, do them. Write it out. Do your notes. It's the best way you're going to learn the material. Okay. Let's get on to the purpose of why we are here, medical terminology. Medical language, it's like learning a new language. It's a learning a second or a third language. It is important that you as a healthcare professional, no matter what type of healthcare professional you are, whether you're a vet tech or a nurse or a CNA or phlebotomist or psychiatrist, whatever it may be, that you use medical terminology appropriately and understand it. So it helps us to be clear, helps us to communicate quickly, and it provides comfort to patients, and it's a clear communication. The medical terms that we're going to be learning have Greek and Latin origins. Okay, so we're going to be learning about eponyms, acronyms, and how, if you are bilingual already, you're going to see a lot of similarities between the root words because most languages did originate from the Greek and Latin. So that's going to be very helpful to you. This class is more than memorizing words. It's being able to understand them, break them down, and learn the parts of the words. So we're going to be talking about why there are, excuse me, understanding the word parts, prefixes, word roots, suffixes, and that kind of thing. So it's more than just memorization. This class is learning it. It's also how to pronounce these words. Medical terms can be a little intimidating sometimes, but after this course, I hope you are understanding that don't be afraid of them. Just learn to sound them out, and we're going to be focusing on that proper pronunciation and spelling in this course. So, and that's another good reason of having the textbook. It has the feature where you can have the word sounded out for you. Okay. So it makes it very helpful. When we begin with medical terms, you have these terms called roots. So words are going to be made up of either um, prefixes, suffixes, or root words. So root words always tell us the body part. Okay, they're going to tell us the noun usually. What body part are we dealing with? Are we dealing with the skin? Are we dealing with the heart? Are we dealing with the bone? Okay. Um, Root words are oftentimes followed with a slash O, and that slash O is what we call a combining vowel, and it simply helps the word root be able to be enunciated more clearly. It helps to build words together or build medical terms that have more than one root word. In other words, um, rhinolaryngologist. Okay, rhino meaning nose, laryngo meaning throat. Okay, an ear, nose, and throat, nasorhinolaryngologist. More than one body part, that combining form lets us be able to put those words, those combining parts together, those combining words together. So here are some common word roots. Okay. And with every chapter, we will be building on to those. So with every chapter, we do a new body system. And so there's newer or more word roots that come into play. So geno, meaning to create, hydro, meaning water, morpho, meaning shape, as in morphology, the study of shape, myco, meaning fungus, dermatomycosis, okay, the abnormal condition of a fungus of the skin, necro, meaning death, and so forth and so on. Okay, these are the ones, are many of the terms we're going to be learning today. So that's, or this semester. So that's word roots. They give us the subject. Okay, what body part are we dealing with, or what body area are we dealing with? Then we have suffixes. Okay, suffixes can be simple or they can be complex. Okay, meaning suffixes come at the end of the word. Okay, they come at the end of the word and they usually tell us what are we going to do to the body part? Are we going to cut it? Are we going, is it enlarged? Are we going to take it out surgically? Are we going to burn it off? What are we going to do? Are we going to cut into it? What are we going to do to that body part, or what does that body part have wrong with it? Okay. So common suffixes can be adjectives, meaning pertaining to. These are your icks and your owls and your aries and your us's, okay, as in cardiac, pertaining to the heart. The word root here is cardi, the suffix is ac. Skeletal, the suffix is all, the word root would be skeleto, okay. Esophageal. Esophago is the word root meaning esophagus. Eel is the suffix meaning pertaining to. Okay. Suffixes can also be a noun ending. Okay. Ia, ism, and I. hypertrophy, excessive growth, okay, the pericardium, the sac surrounding the heart. So suffixes can also be like noun endings. And then they can also tell us what's wrong with the body part, or um, sometimes dealing with the size, as you see here, the suffix ventricle or cols, ols, yules, or eula. These all mean small ones. So a ventricle, okay, an arteriole, a small artery, a pustule, a small fluid-filled pimple, okay, um, meaning small. So suffixes tell us what are we going to do to that body part. It's going to pertaining to the body part. Okay, and suffixes are fun. They can tell us a lot, as you'll see on pages 12, 13, and 14 in your textbook. Some of the more common ones here are what are we going to do to the body parts, such as ectomy means to surgically remove. Tomy means to put into. Okay. So as you're studying chapter 1, you'll be focusing on word parts and what pertained or what makes up these medical terms. So also dealing with suffixes. Remember, I mentioned earlier how suffixes can tell us what's wrong with the body part. Okay, so algia is the suffix that means pain. Myalgia is muscle pain. Myo means muscle. The next one here, dynia. Dynia also means pain. What body part has pain? Oops. Gastrodynia is pain in the stomach. Gastro meaning stomach. See how fun medical terminology can be? Um, you can always understand at least one of the parts. Okay, for example, right here, arthritis. Okay, most everybody knows that itis means inflamed, right? So you might not understand what body part is inflamed, but you understand that itis is inflammation. Okay, in this case, arthro means joint. So you have an inflammation of a joint. Oid, oma, osis, kathy, kenia, ptosis, raj, rhea, rhexis, spasm. Okay, all of these are suffixes that we will learn and use in chapter 1. For example, here, diarrhea. Not a fun time, right? Not a good condition to have. But when we break it down into its word parts, whoops, dia means all, or all-encompassing, and then rhea means flow. So this is where all of your colonic contents are coming out, okay? Diarrhea. Myopathy, okay? Disease of the muscle, and so forth and so on. Synthesis, gram, graphy, graph. Be careful with these two, graph and graphy. Okay, graph is to produce a record. Think of like a photograph, which is one photo. Okay, so a cardiograph, one distinct image of the heart, whereas graphy means recording. Okay, so a cardiography would be a kind of like a live, multiple data points put together. Okay, so be careful with that. And same thing with scope and scopy right here. Scope is the instrument used to look at the body, where scopy is the process of actually looking at the body. Okay, so be careful with that. So in other words, an arthroscopy is a procedure, and the arthroscope is the instrument used in the procedure. Decystectomy, pexiplasty, raphy, ostomy, and tomy. There again, be careful. A lot of these look alike, sound alike. See right here with stomy and tomy, they only differ with one letter, but it changes the whole meaning of the word. Okay, so stomy here, as in colostomy, this is an artificial opening, whereas tomy means to cut into. Okay, so medical language, medical terminology has to be that specific because we're dealing with body parts, we're dealing with communicating to other health professionals. So it gets that specific. Okay, it can literally oftentimes, not to get too dramatic, but it can be life and death. Okay, misinterpreting medical language can be life threatening. Okay, then you have suffixes that give you singular and plural. Okay, vertebra, one vertebrae bone compared to vertebrae, the whole vertebral column. Okay, um, esis and essis here. Okay, neurosis and neuroses. So you'll be looking a little bit at that as well, how we can go from singular to plural. And then lastly, the last part of medical terms are prefixes. Okay. Prefixes come at the beginning of the word, and they are going to tell us even more information about the word. Okay. They are at the beginning. They literally mean to attach, and they are going to tell us time, speed, direction, size, quantity, and even more. Okay. Before or after, away or towards, up or down, one, two, three, four. Okay. They give us a lot of information. So, and they can also tell us negative, okay, negation prefixes. So remember, prefixes come at the beginning of the word. So here, and you see how they're written, like a with a dash, and with a dash, anti with a dash, so forth. So a means not, so aphasia, okay, and also meaning not, anemia, okay, antibiotics, anti meaning life, meaning against, bio meaning life, the suffix tic meaning pertaining to. Okay. Some other ones here that mean time or speed, antepartum, meaning, or excuse me. Oh, gotta be careful with that pronunciation. Anti means against, ante means before. So antepartum, meaning before parturition, so before birth. Pre, meaning before, okay, precondition. Brady, meaning slow, as in bradycardia, slow heartbeat. 3 word parts here. Prefix Brady. Cardio, meaning heart, and ia, meaning pertaining to. Prefixes that tell us direction. So ab, as in abduction, going away from the body. Ad, meaning towards, as in adduction, going towards the body, or adrenaline. Circum, peri. Okay, there's that term peri again. Peri meaning to surround, card meaning heart, meaning pertaining to. Okay, here's dia again. We had it originally a couple slides ago with diarrhea, right? Meaning all or encompassing or through. And here it's in diagnostic, okay? Meaning what is the disease of the person? What do they have? Okay. So some more suffixes here. It looks a lot. Okay, it looks a lot, and it is, and that's why we recommend, or I recommend, diving into your medical textbook every day and definitely doing the learning exercises in the textbook. I want to draw your attention. I wish there was a way that I could highlight. I want to draw your attention here to intra and inter. These are two that are look-alike, sound alike that students get mixed up all the time. Okay, intra means inside, as in intravenous, going inside what? Going inside a vein. Okay, so pertaining to, going inside a vein, intravenous or an IV, which looks alike, sounds a lot like inter, but it means completely different. The prefix inter means between, as in the interstitial spaces or as in intercostals, okay, meaning the muscles between the ribs. So as you're studying prefixes, make sure you're looking at the opposites. Okay, prefixes oftentimes come in pairs. That tells you opposites. In other words, if you have something that's going to go up, you have to have something that comes down. Something big, something small. Macro, micro. Okay. Size or quantity. And then some of your general prefixes, congestion, sim, sin, dis, eu, as in euphoria. Okay. When we are building medical terms, now that you understand the word root, the suffixes and prefixes, here's where this common vowel comes into play a lot. So we're wanting to build the term, the study of the heart. So that's cardiology. So the word root is cardi or cardi, combining vowel, and then the suffix ology or logiology, which means to study. Okay. So here again, practice in your textbook, practice putting these terms together. Okay, inflammation of the liver, hepatitis. Hepato is the word root slash combining form for liver, and itis means information of. Here we drop the slash O because the suffix begins with a vowel. Okay, so you don't need that. You don't need that vowel anymore. It's just going to take some practice to get that put together. All righty. Okay, translating arthritis. Yeah. Okay. Before we leave, let me get out of the slides and go back here to let's do the textbook first. Okay. Let's go kind of down here to the end, to the chapter 1 review exercises. Let me look real quick. Sorry. So I believe, yeah, your online version has end of the chapter exercises that you can do. The ones within the chapter. Okay, whoops, here's that same one I tried to find again before. Let me find it one more time. Sorry. Here we go. Learning outcomes within the chapter. So this is word root, okay? Matching the word root with its term. Here it is. You're writing it out. Okay, zero meaning dry, pathy meaning disease of, sclero meaning hardening, phasio meaning to eat. Okay, all of these you would write in. Okay, these are just a lot of fun. You really, please, practice these. And like I said, every week I will post the answer key. They will not be in my handwriting. This is me writing it in the textbook. I wanted to show you how you can do it. The ones that I will post from here on out will just be typewritten out. Okay, and this is only one. This is only exercise 1.5 in the textbook, but I wanted you to be able to see it and really recommend you using the learning exercises and going through them and just reviewing it at least 3 to 4 times a week. Okay, that's the best way. Also, you'll see your graded assignments within McGraw-Hill Connect and your review exercises and your homework every week within that. Please let me know if you have any questions. This concludes lecture for Chapter 1. Thank you.